Welcome, everyone. This is Wendy Castle here with One Bite Nutrition. Very happy to have Nicole Bomar, one of our dietitians, here with us. Today, we're going to talk about macronutrients. Those are our big nutrients. They're a hot topic. A lot of people talk about them, try to use them for diet reasons. So, Nikki, there's a lot of talk about macronutrients, and I'm not sure some of our viewers know what they are, how we use them in terms of diet. So how would you describe macronutrients in simple terms?
So again, those macronutrients are they're the big ones, right? They're the nutrients that our bodies require in a large amount. We require a lot of others in smaller amounts, right? Like our sodium and things like that. But when we're talking about those macros, they're the big ones. There's carbohydrates, protein, and fats. So those three big ones are what we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of heard the key trigger word, carbs or carbohydrates. They kind of get a bad rap in various different fad diets that are out there. Some diets want them to be limited or completely removed from the diet. Does our body need them? What's your advice on carbohydrates?
Yeah, so carbs are definitely the most misunderstood macronutrient that we have, but they are the body's main preferred energy source, and they are essential for things like brain function, our activity levels, like physical activity, and hormone balance. Once we begin eating a carb source, that digestion begins pretty much immediately, right in our mouths. And so some are digested quicker than others, can help us accomplish different things, right? Am I wanting a quick carb source? Am I wanting a slow carb source? Right, if I'm doing a long workout, I need something that's going to be really quick to give me energy. Again, promoting that brain function and that physical activity energy. If I need something that's going to regulate my blood sugar over a longer period of time, I need a more complex carb source. So something like beans or potatoes versus something quick like the fruit or honey.
Absolutely. I'm going to do a quick little plug about beans because I had chili last night. I'm wearing a CGM right now, continuous glucose monitor, so it monitors my blood sugar. I was a little nervous because beans do have carbs in them. But between the protein that was in the chili and the beans, my blood sugar was stable. So huge win
Yay!
on beans. And just another plug for, if you do have those complex carbs, you're not going to see those big spikes and falls in your blood sugar. You'll see more of this hill effect when you eat, and that's what we're going for. That's a solid win. So, okay. So what about the next one? What about protein, and how is that different than carbs?
Yeah, so if we think of carbs as the fuel source, we can think of that protein as the construction material, right? It's the building blocks of our muscles. And it plays, again, more crucial roles because it is a macronutrient. And of course, our muscles, but things like immune health and again, hormones are coming in play here. Again, we need it for that hormone regulation. It can be used as energy, but it's really, really inefficient for our body to do so. So it would be, like running the AC with all the windows and doors open on a really hot day. It can work a little bit, but it doesn't really work very well for getting that main energy source for our body.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about the last one? What about fat? It's our most caloric dense nutrient. So what kind of role does it play? And when you're looking at diet as a whole, where does it fit?
Yeah, so if we think of, the past even 30, 40 years, fats have been up and down. Again, some diet trends are demonizing them and others are putting them on a pedestal.
Mhm.
But again, just like with anything, we need that balance of them. So the total fat and the type of fat, both of these are going to matter. Again, essential body functions are having roles here. Our brain function, our long-term energy can be affected by those fats too. Again, hormone health. And of course, we think of insulation that also is going to have a big impact on how much fat, what kind of fat that we need.
Yeah, absolutely. So knowing all of that in regards to the three big nutrients, the three macronutrients, how would someone know like how much to eat of which one? Like what's the split supposed to be?
Yeah, so not an easy question to answer at all, simply because there's no ideal macro split that's going to work for everybody. We have some ideal starting points, but what's going to work best for you individually is going to need to be tailored a little bit. So looking at your goals, what's realistic for you, where's our starting point? Is it realistic to go from A to B, or do we need, A, B, C, D, E, all the way through if we need them. Right, our starting points though, right, we can find those on our blog. We have a whole blog about micros or macros right now. Again, onebynutrition.com. But again, talk to your dietitian. Again, use it as a starting point and then talk to your dietitian on how to customize that for your goals in specific.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing that I talk to my patients about is, everything's individualized and it's not just for the person, but sometimes it's for the day. If you get people that are way more active on the weekends because they're training for a 5K or whatever the case may be, what they eat on the weekends might need to look different than what they eat during the week when they have a sedentary office job. So that's where, really working with a dietitian and trying to get that individualized diet prescribed to you based on what your life looks like day by day, is really, really important. And people really seem to find that that is a doable way to not only optimize their health, but their body's function too. They feel better. And that's one thing that we ask, if we're trying to cut back on carbs a little bit and manage blood sugars, how do you feel at this level? Are you groggy? Are you lethargic? What's going on? What's your energy levels at a certain level? So it's not like, a blank prescription for everyone. We really want to know how it's affecting you and adjust based on that. So yeah, thank you so much. Nikki, thank you for pointing people to the website, onebitenutrition.com. If you want to schedule with a dietitian, you can book direct on there. We have our schedule up there and you can book direct to our calendar. If you have any questions, you can also comment below.